Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we got some hotness going down in SSS1-22, which is combined for Kingdoms 79, 80, 81, and 82, effectively those four, 79 through 82, and there is a lot going on right now. This is a big amount of legions here from UXWA. We got Trib in the Northeast, and then I guess also in the Northwest. Why did I think that those were different people when I initially looked? I swear I thought I saw some other... I'm crazy. That's cool. Oh, UDF. There we go. Yeah, I don't know where they're at, but I knew I saw some other people that were coming a little earlier. But man, this is a lot of people and is awesome. So hopefully we're going to get some dope engagements. A lot of the fighting's been happening right here Northeast. Ooh, okay, Northwest. Looks like we're going to start moving in just a tidbit here and might start getting some hits going down. Now, I'm not too sure as far as who the bigger matchups are thus far. I know someone was giving me a little bit of an update here, and I have to see where I have this on my sheet, because I know I have something here for that I was writing down to take notes for the matchups that are happening. But this is interesting. So Trib opting, and I kind of like the spread option here too as well, kind of utilizing the mountain range. Again, that can kind of be be, I don't want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Double-edged, if you will, at times, just depending on where kind of UWA will say for now, if they were to kind of have everyone push going northwest or having everyone push northeast to kind of take advantage of one or the other. But I do kind of like that at least Trib is kind of forcing a little bit of separation here. A lot of bunching coming up here from UWA. One of the things that we often talk about. I mean, again, if you have numbers, it's probably not going to seem that impactful. But if the numbers and the level of organization structure is kind of evenly matched, then you're really kind of looking more at tactical and good positional gameplay when you're looking on the field for how to just, again, create those advantages for yourself. Thunder Shadow being thrown down. Hard Shot, that nice single target. We got Thunder Shadow being thrown down too as well. I don't know if I've seen any Shadow games. I always love when I see those being thrown out. Numbers aren't too far off here. There's like a big bulge here. And what I notice is that sometimes the names will not show up right away if there's a lot of action on the field. But we at least can see the units and them fighting, even though, we can't necessarily really make out what side they're on, right? Because of, sometimes if it's like, and it could even just be something on my end. But the one thing I will say is that at least you can see the units and the animations that are still going. So even if they're just kind of prioritizing that, I'm totally down with it. All right. So, and again, right here in Trib's case, right, I would spread this out a little bit more kind of left to right, right? We kind of often talk about forming those arc lines. So that way you're just reducing the amount of AoE damage that's being inflicted on you. And so that means your outputting DPS is able to be more from your side versus your opponents or enemies. Let's see if we can look at some numbers here, man. This is interesting. Let's see. How do the boards look? Oh, gosh. I'm getting like the ultimate lag right now. Rough life. And everything was fine before when I loaded in here, man. We were Gucci. I guess I'll just have to wait for the connection to catch up. I guess we'll go with that. Yeah, let's see. All right. Okay, here we go. It's coming a little bit more now. So UWA pushing up. Ooh, a little action here on this side. Hi, sweetie. Let's see here. Okay, so kind of going... Now, this is the thing that we often talk about when you are building a flag, is there needs to be a level of kind of heads-up awareness that if you're building a flag in enemy territory, that... or trying to destroy. I'm not sure what's happening here. Oops, hang on. Let's look. Okay, so they're actually trying to destroy. But still, the same thing applies, is that in these cases, it's important to recognize that if you're going to send PvP marches, then knowing when to disengage so you can continue fighting versus when to, I should say disengage from the flag and then engage on the fight. So that way you're able to not just kind of become cannon fodder. On the opposite side, if you're running more engineering marches here, then really it's kind of disengaging to run away and create distance and then re-engaging the moment that you see them kind of pushing back. That's typically where you'd be looking a little bit more at. Dude, oh my God, I don't know how Trib's kind of hitting them from all sides. This kind of almost feels like a little bit of a sandwich, or at least hitting them from the north and the south. I'm not sure how organized this is. Shout out to my buddy Celos, or Seos, depending on how you're pronouncing the double L's there. who did give me a heads up on the action that was coming on. So I always appreciate the pings and the notifications. Again, as I always say, if I'm able to make it, I always do my best. And often, always best, even better, to reach out to me on Discord or just post in a channel that I have on my Discord, which is titled our CoD, I think it's Drama Wars or Wars Drama, that we have under our Call the Dragon section, which, again, I've been getting quite a few people that have been posting there, so I always appreciate those heads up. But, again, don't feel bad. You can always DM me. And usually what I'll do is if there's any action happening for the day, I will just write that on a notepad so I kind of know where the potential action is for that day, depending on how much we might be able to capture, if I want to do some type of compilation video or if the action is enough, right, to kind of hold its own standalone video itself. So it kind of just depends. But being able to record as much as potentially I can, always enjoy. So I really like this. And again, I don't know what the number matchups here are. Trib versus, let me see, power. Can we look real quick? So we have 832 mil versus, let's see here, 1.6 billion. So Trib has twice the power of what was it? UWA. Getting the numbers totally wrong there. All right. Ooh, sword art, that nice arc. Just big target damage there. So yeah, man, Trib. So Trib pushing. I wonder, and I think we ended up seeing that. I gotta ask my buddy what the matchup is. Let me see. What is the and these fights? Let's see if we can get a response. I know he's fighting in real time. But let's see here. So we're on 782. So we got Trib versus WXW. This is Darlin. So I don't know if we're in Darlin right now. Let's zoom out and just take a quick gander. That's where the action was that I saw. So, and you can kind of see that here. So you got UXW. Wow. So where is Trib? I see they're right here. I think they're yellow. Yeah. So Trib or Tribe. So they're over here. And I wonder are they fighting anyone else? I'm so curious right now. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, no, I think they were allied with UDF. I think that's who it was on their thing. Let's double check this. This is what happens when I make new accounts. Okay, so they are allied with UDF. So to the west, everything's good. I don't know who this is. So UDT, probably the same thing, which means and it doesn't look like they're attacking VVVVV. And let's see if VVV is building in any specific. Oh, so they are. So they're actually building out this way. Probably to help. Are they allied with them in UDT? Okay, so it's kind of all connected here. So you have those alliances that are going up against the WXW fam, or I guess the WX or XW fam, if you will. And it looks like this one, I don't know if they're building. So again, I mean, that's going to be an engagement they're going to have to fight probably at some point. VV and UDT. So they've actually pushed out already. They're kind of holding this bridge choke. Interesting. And then you basically have... Is there fighting going on down here too? Let's see. So we got Hung who's fighting. And I think this is just kind of leading back up to the big fight, right? Which is up here. Interesting. So it is. Okay. So kind of telling us a bit here on who we got. So Hung, you got UWA. It looks like one or two more that were down there, kind of that family or that group. I wonder UXW. I'm just curious on what their power is right now. I thought they were red, right? Let's double check. No, they're not. Am I tripping here? Let's see, UXW. 'Cause I felt like they were kind of... Oh, here we go. This is it. Probably the main, but let's see. No, they're 694, so hang on. Maybe we can look at towers. I know you guys want to get back to the fight. We'll get there in a sec. So towers, we can kind of get an idea here for Darlin forces. So you see UDT, Tribe, they're 654... Tribe 1.7 bill. Who else is in Darlin? WXW, we just looked at them. They're 700 mil, 800 mil, 665. WP, not too much. Oops, let's go back. Where's WXB? So 633 mil, VVV 651, 127. Laughing Coffin, shout out to my SAO guild fam there. Really like that. Hug 534. Always happy when we get those cool references. So yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. So it does obviously seem like the power advantage is a little bit more on the Tribe side than it is on the WX side, but maybe the amount of alliances is kind of similar. We'd have to like really do some hard add-ups here to see how things are kind of going. Let's see where some of the fighting. But again, I mean, they're pushing Tribe back a little bit here. At least it kind of, at least on the southern side, we should say. But on the north side, they got 6 minutes until that flag is destroyed. And Tribe pushing up a little bit more now. Almost feels like it might just be a little too much right now for the WX family, Hung, etc., and others. Again, I don't know how much ground has been made or has been lost to an extent. So that's something that we'll have to see. Let me see. Celis is giving me an update right now. So it's Trib, UDF, server 80 top alliances versus Wild Wolves, server 79 top alliances. So we got kind of 80 versus 79. Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Cool. Let's get back into the fight, see how much we can gather here. What are we going, about 11 minutes so far? Okay. I mean, again, man, nice to see at least a little big fight that we were able to get. So, awesome. And then coming up here north, yeah, Tribe looks like, I mean, this one is kind of in the bag, I guess, so to speak. You know, not to go too early. Excuse me on the words there, but again, I mean, obviously with, you know, one of the things I often like to talk about is that I'm a big believer that I don't feel that power is always going to be a determining factor, even though usually in quite a few cases it is an advantage nonetheless. And this is where you often hear me kind of adding in my whole, like, I would love to see them remove counterattack damage, so that way we can really see kind of more of the true skill impact, you know, where you can really have alliances, and especially the free-to-play base, where they can go into fights and it really will have a heavier weighted impact on the level of strategy and tactics and coordination that is being applied from alliances, rather than the kind of overwhelming advantage or overwhelming factor being, you know, who's stronger, so to speak. To me, you know, again, even if you look at traditional sports, right? You know, just because maybe you are the most well built or you have the most muscle mass doesn't always necessarily mean that, you know, that is going to be such a big overwhelming factor when it comes to playing general sports, so to speak, right? I mean, if we're just kind of, and I say general sports, but even if you just look at something like soccer, football, right, where it's, God, what is it? I'm totally forgetting now. 11 on 11. Whatever it may be, I'm having a big brain fart right now as I was attempting to say that. But even basketball 5v5 and you know, in these types of situations, or football, you know, for theirs on both sides, right? It's, you know, that's the big thing that people look at. You know, it's strategy, it's tactics. It's not always kind of, you know, going through brute force, so to speak, even though, you know, that will always be a factor. I think for me, when I look at CoD, and often I mention a lot of my PvP videos, is us looking at kind of the traditional. Looks like we're getting a little bit of staging here for another engagement, which could be cool. But one of the things I often talk about is, you know, the enjoyment of being able to see just good quality PvP. And I think, right, where the focus is more on quality of PvP and not quantity of either, you know, power being a factor or, you know, just being that much stronger, so to speak, than others. I think for me, that's really what I look at. You know, it doesn't matter to me. And again, that's not a slight at anyone, right, who comes into a fight being stronger or not. It's also not saying that, you know, how dare you. What I'm mainly speaking to is the kind of universal approach of being able to have that be hopefully the biggest determining factor in who wins fights, rather than it being or having such a big, you know, power disparity, and then you have, you know, like the one side, whomever it may be, who is just that much stronger than others, or the other side, and, you know, them, and that's the thing. But sometimes I see some people posting too as well, whether it be you know, memes that I'll see every once in a while, or people in world chat, and it's, you know, it's, don't get me wrong, I think friendly banter and competitive banter is healthy, But I think the moment where, you know, that banter or the trash talk or the words that are being used are, you know, are coming from a position of such a greater advantage, right, where your alliance is double the other alliance's power, you know, it's just not good taste. It's I don't think it's good taste at all, and it's just kind of unbecoming, if you will. But hopefully, this is something that if we were able to see something like counterattack damage be removed, and we could see what that impact would be like. I'm of the belief that, and again, I know I mentioned in every video, but to me, I think it's such a great thing that we could see where you would really at that point say, well, hey, this game, Call of Dragons, is by far the most free-to-play friendly, because you have to think about it. If they remove something like that completely, you as a free-to-play player could arguably be attacking, and again, I'm giving an extreme example here, but you as a free-to-play could be attacking, you know, a T5 whale, and if they're not paying attention on the field, right, their units there's no handicap anymore, right? So if their unit gets attacked, they're not immediately attacking you. You could be attacking them and just dealing all that free damage until eventually you kill their legions, because they either weren't paying attention or they weren't online, or you know, maybe they were focused, maybe they were attacking someone else and you were attacking them from the side. So there's a lot more micromanaging that would have to go into it, and in my opinion, a lot more true skill as well, compared to like when you see the negative white numbers. And sure, the numbers, we're not saying they're incredibly high, right, where it's a 1-to-1 ratio on counterattack damage by any means, but it is something that I think would just allow for the game to reach a higher level of potential. All right, as we continue with some more fighting, let us see on what some of these matchups are. Sweetie, put those back and stop playing with them. We already talked about this. Now, put them back, please. Now. My daughter just loves touching all of my ladies' arts and crafts stuff. And guess who's the person who gets chewed out because it's happening? This guy. Even though we talk about it every day. All right, let's see here. Ooh, okay, so coming back a little bit more, and looks like there's can't really tell what's happening here. It looks like the UXW person is getting hit by Hung, but maybe they shouldn't be, so to speak. He's like, what's happening? All right, then we got UDF and Trib. This tower has to be close. Oh, now they're all getting back on it. Okay, so I thought this one was at 6 minutes, unless there was another one that we're tripping. Let's see, dude. I want to say this. I really like how we're reforming the ranks, so to speak, right? Sure, it may not be the most spread out as we would tend to like to see it happening, but I do like how we're at least, I like how there feels to be some honor in, you know what, we're going to reform because we just love having big brawls and big battles instead of it just kind of being a constant trickle fest. So I'm a fan of that. You know, you got my respect on that one. I think it's cool. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to do that, right? That has to be the norm. I'm just saying I like when I can see that happening. Now, let's see. Okay. Let's see. So nice, man. Nice numbers, man. Getting some replenishment. Got some more people that are coming in. All right. Let's see what's going to happen here. Chai's got some more people that are coming in. Who are some of the top dogs here? I didn't even look at that as well. If there's anyone that's fighting that we can see. Solurian? Okay. And then Polly. BT Hoki, Zalted, Das. I'll have to see if we see any of these people on the field. Thanos, Willpower, Glubby. Okay, I'll have to see. Again, from the often time, which is coming into a lot of kingdoms and looking at kind of what's happening, it's always been so many name differences. If I don't check out a kingdom often, that can be kind of challenging for me to at least remember all the names or have a higher likelihood. Oh, there we go. There's a Pablo. Found one. Dude, I feel like I'm playing Where's Waldo? You know, it's just, it's too funny. That might age me a bit, but you know what? Long hair, don't care. Only when I grow it out. Let's see here. So let's look at what some of them are running right now. You know, that's always one of the enjoying things I look. So we got, and also for those of you that may not know this, right, this is something I figured out. So the hero that's actually leading the walk between these two is the primary, and the one that's a little bit behind is the secondary, in case you didn't know that. And I'll show you this. If I click on this, you'll see it's Lilia. And you notice how Lilia is a little bit in front, and then Veln was a little bit behind. Same thing here. This is Lilia Veln as well, and you can see that from Glubby. Oh, there we go. There's another top player, or top 10, I think it was, or top 15. So yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of Mage that we have. I actually kind of like this from UWA. I like how we're seeing a little bit of spread up here, even though, you know, it's kind of this clump back and forth. And then Trib kind of going a circle, not necessarily doing as much spread. Okay, maybe we're going to get some things kicking off here. Let's see, we got that Madeline Nika, very popular, right? This is pretty much kind of off-tank meta that we've been seeing for a while now. And again, nice tech. I don't know if I want to say nicer, not to kind of see it adapted a little bit. Then we got was this Eliana Garwood? Interesting. Oh no, sorry, Liliana. Oh no, it is Eliana. I'm tripping. Eliana Garwood, and then we got let me see, Lilia Veln. Interesting. I wonder why they're not applying some pressure here. And see, like, here's a great example, right, of like the damage that's being done on the range units, like that was ranged versus ranged, and you're getting counterattack damage done to you. The interesting thing is, you know, it's funny because I initially thought that counterattack damage was only going to be done for infantry units, which again, you can sell me on having kind of smaller amounts of that. Obviously, you know, my initial thoughts aside, but okay, here we go. We got a big fight going down. Let's see. Craziness right now, just everything. Time Bomb strikes, Sordos there for big, oh my gosh, that big DPS on those negative purples, those were in the thousands. That was pretty cool. Royal Punishment, big single target DPS there. Divine Mercy, I can't remember if Divine Mercy is the shield one that lasts for 5 or 6 seconds where you don't end up taking any damage. Time Bomb, Single Flames. There's our Shadow Games being thrown down. Not seeing any negative purples, though, so it could have just been a little out of range there. Time Bomb, you see that going down right there. I believe that's on an 8 or 10 second, up to 3-person damage for that artifact. Some Earthen Judgments being thrown down as well, getting some nice AoE buffs. You can see that those are coming down for like the defense up, the feebles there. Looks like we're getting some negatives as well on the others, or at least we should say for debuffs on some of the opponents. That single big target DPS for the Royal Punishment, Shadow Games. I wonder if maybe we're just seeing a little bit of lag while we're not seeing all the negative purples that are being thrown down for the artifacts, which very much could be the case. Again, we got our tanks kind of up front. You can see some of the Lilia's wall, like that's 4, 5 mages, 6, 7, 8. I mean, you got a DPS here for Kanara, kind of going physical DPS, but a lot of magic that we're seeing. Another one here for Nico, Kanara, that's 3 we've seen so far. Most of these, though, being Mage, at least, again, out of the 15 or so legions that we just took a look at there for UWA. Can't really see these too well over here. Almost looks like they're having a little tank fiesta. Let's see up here. We got, and I believe this is magic for flying. I'm going to have to double check that. But we got, let me see, we got Lilia, 3 Val, 2 here. We got the Cav. Oh, wow, dude, going in hard here with the optics. Now, see, typically, if you're going to push like this with Trib, the thing is you always want to make sure you're pushing with your DPS as well, right? Kind of think of it like League of Legends, where if you're having your tank or your off-tank push in, your DPS should be right behind. So the moment that you engage, there's maybe a second or two of delay until you're able to start doing damage onto the units that the tanks are taunting or, again, pulling that aggro of attention or focus for them being hit. And you could see, I mean, Friedrich, lasting a while here with the Nika Madeline. And again, this is where you would usually have like Trib assisting, pushing up, kind of attacking those outlier units as well, but also making sure you're just kind of having good positioning. Some members of Trib not necessarily pushing right now. Looks like they still have a good amount here. To say Glubby, man, just kind of going through the back. Not a bad play, especially if you feel like you're able to do a little bit of damage from kind of that blitzkrieg rush of just, going past and getting to a back line. UW, it looks like pushing back a little bit here as Trib continues. Now, typically, when these types of situations happen, if you feel like you're getting pushed, one of the big things you can do is kind of fall back to a staging area and then look to re-engage. Because remember, if you're being replenished from your back lines, then an example would be, if Trib's around here, you say, okay, hey, look, this is our staging area. So as you're falling back, the units that are coming up to replenish are going here. And then once you feel like you have a good group, even if they're still coming to you while you're running away, you now have more numbers, so then you can attempt to counter push, right? This is kind of how you want to have good tactics and good replenishment strategy when you are fighting in real time, because you don't just want to keep running and running and running away, or trickling in moments of re-engagement, like in this situation here where Recall is kind of going in, right? In this, where that is just, look, keep falling back. And I'm not saying, you know, again, I don't know the level of coordination for any of the involved parties, but typically this is what you're doing to maximize time or Legion march time to where you're going to, not only from those that are retreating, but for those that are being replenished and coming up from the back lines or from your supply lines. As again, think about it. If you had all these people that are retreating, and they're kind of, I don't know if this is the staging, but if they would have staged up here, now look at the fact that you have, what, 7, 8, 9 Trib Legions. This is an easy and great counterattack opportunity to where you could come in, be doing so much more DPS than potentially what they're doing out to you. Therefore, your other units like these ones would be taking less damage, and you'd probably have more surviving legions as well. So again, these are important things to know how to do. Regardless if you're on voice or not, you can issue out these instructions via text, via mails. You can use markers in real time. You can have a dedicated, one of the things we've talked about often is having a dedicated war action chat that you have for all the members of your alliance. And then what you do is you have them move this left to right. So here, I'll give you an example. I don't know if I can join. Oh, I can't. I was going to say if I could have joined. What you can do is, if you ever want to switch what you're seeing here, you just click and drag, right? So you click and drag this left or right, and then what it does is it changes the group chat. So it'll either change, it'll go from world chat to your alliance chat to any group chats you have, and then any personal DMs that you have, and you can kind of swipe left or right through those. And that's something you can do where you make a dedicated group chat and then you pin it for any type of real-time actions. So you see that in real time as those are happening, and you can kind of use it as a real-time feed while you're fighting, right? So you can kind of see the orders coming through, right? Again, if you're looking to kind of be creative in your approach. Let's see, I don't know. Looks like Trib just looking just to keep applying some pressure on multiple fronts here. Again, even though they are falling back a little bit, man, you can see this flag though, what, 2.5 minutes. So maybe we'll just hang out until the flag is destroyed, and then we'll go and look for some more action in other places. We're almost at 30 minutes. But, dude, I appreciate there's been some pretty constant action here, so it's been great to watch. As you guys know, man, I am a fan of getting as much PvP in as I possibly can. Let's check in and see if my little lady's doing stuff. Are we cleaning up? No, we're not. Okay, let's go. Take those down, please. We already talked about this. Take those down, throw them away, put the things back where they need to go. Okay, we'll take them off and put them in the trash, please. Yeah, no, it wasn't going that well. I think there was a continuance of usage on materials, materials being expunged. All right, let's see what we got here. So it was also told to me by Celos, I think, that ended up saying there really wasn't any action kind of going on in some of the other regions, that there could be some future action coming from, I think, either Seven Sins or DSO, for some of them just kind of being spread through Zoland and other regions. But at the moment, it seems the majority of action right now is in the Darlin region here for this KVK group. Oh, let's see. Is that flag been? Where are we at with the flag? A minute until this bad boy is done. Yeah. This is going to be the flag of flags. We've deemed it that just because we can. It's just a flag. Let's see, so probably not going to get the stop off. They have some people, just not enough right now. Again, looks like it's kind of lowering a little bit as they continue their advance. And so we got almost 30 seconds left until it goes down. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Oh, did I miss it? Let's go back. 14 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. We'll just wait for it to go. Bam! Territory was in real time. I like the animation quality. Nice low latency we have that was able to keep up with the real time change. You just see all those marches just fleeing, or returning, we should say. That's a lot. It's a lot on the field, man. They're probably going to start building something soon here, I imagine, probably where the flag was to connect the 2 more flags that they can go through. All right, I think that's going to do it for us. That was the big finale that we were waiting for. Not really, but just nice to see something. Nice to see something that we could point out to, at least an objective-wise, and also kind of make a nice note here to finish on. So we're at almost 31 minutes. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, trying to show off as much PvP as we can from as many of the KVK groups. Would love to hear if you are in this group. How's the fighting been going? Again, enjoying, not enjoying. How, if you're watching as just a viewer from another kingdom, have you been enjoying us covering as much PvP as possible? Right, let us know. Anything and everything in the comments down below. That is going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.